I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, guys? We are back again with another episode of the Love and Hip Hop Miami After Show. This is season 3, episode 5, entitled Overstepping Boundaries. I am your host, Tyra Prude. I'm so happy to be with you guys today. And to the left of me, I have the lovely Alfie. Go ahead and do your little shout out, whatever you want to do.
Alfie, great to be here. Doing good.
So it's just a little duo today. We're missing our girl Joseline, but we hope she's doing well. We'll see you next week, girl.
We will see you soon.
Yes, we will see you soon. But okay, we have a lot to talk about today, y'all. So much happened. We got to talk about this, I like to call it this triangle between Amara, Emjay, and Julian. We got to get into this date that Joy said Trick Daddy on. We got to talk about Premadonna and Joseline and this whole disaster of beef that they have going on. And then also we have to, of course, talk about Trina's tour and how it's just in shambles. So with that being said, Alfie, what are your overall thoughts?
Well, it's interesting. I have to say, another amazing, wonderful episode, of course. Had a lot of intricacies in this one. I think it's one that, again, I like Love and Hip Hop Miami because they actually reveal a lot of dealings in the business that, up-and-coming artists are going to have to deal with, and even the older artists and things and relationships and how these things can get intertwined and mingle and dealing with business and wanting to pursue your dreams. I think all of those things kind of get touched on. Being ratchet and how that can all come to bite you later.
Right.
Whoa! I tell you, this was one of those episodes where I was like, all right, well, at least you get to see people make mistakes, so, wise people learn from others, kind of thing.
Was there a lot of learning? I don't know.
No, not them learning from themselves, but you viewers.
Oh, got it.
You're the wise ones who are going to learn from these ratchet mistakes that they make. Because, only in Miami, but I think everywhere. But I think just most of the people are new on this show, so it kind of all boils over very quickly. Rather than, I think, on the New Yorks or the Hollywoods, they're more been around there, so they have certain ways that I think a lot of viewers can't see these kind of lessons that you get off of this show. Bang.
Got it. I thought this episode was just enough ratchetness that we've been missing and that we've needed. It was a complete mess. And honestly, I am just so fed up with Nicki Natural. It's crazy because I almost wanted to give her a chance. I almost thought that she was like sincere, turning the page, turning over a new leaf. But this episode, she really upset me.
Well, I kind of knew it was going to be like that because once she did that scene in the park and I saw all the kids with the different baby dad. No,
okay,
it was in the
talk
park
about the baby daddies.
and the baby dad and the little kids. I was like, oh, see, those are receipts. And the fact that she was like, I made kids and stuff. I was like, you know what, low key, this is one of those red flags. You'd be like, oh, I thought she was the Christian girl. Which she is, or everybody got their journey.
But I guess the reason why I expected more was because she reached out to Joy. First of all, her and Joy do not have the best of relationship. Like, she got freaking put out of Trick Daddy house with Joy being there. So I felt like, I don't think we necessarily saw it, but I felt, her coming to her asking, for Joy's help with bringing her back on Trina's tour and stuff. I'm like, okay, maybe she's turning over a new leaf. We'll talk about it. We're getting ahead of ourselves. We have to first talk about this love triangle between Amara, Emjay, and Julian. Now, we've been seeing this whole lead up. We've been seeing how, Amara is just torn in between the two, aka LaToya Luckett. She does not know what she wants to do. She's taking all of these opinions from everyone, and in the end, she's just trying to decide what's the best decision for her regarding her relationship and her business plan and career path with Julian. So we kind of saw how her mom pretty much gave her advice and was like, you need to figure out what you want to do. Stop listening to Emjay. Stop listening to everybody else. Listen to your heart, and you have this talk with him. So what was your thoughts on this whole discussion and how the meeting went and everything?
Okay, just to dive in again, this was a very important part. Sometimes I want to talk about the ratchet only, but I really feel like there's so much you learn, I guess, being in the business in different ways. And again, Fall Girls on Netflix with Amara And it's one of them situations where I met them and I've been in different facets of entertainment. And it was the key things is relationships can alter your career based off of the natural things that they require or would naturally desire off of being with somebody as successful as Amara. Of course, Emjay, I feel he comes from a good place, but it's one of them situations where he shouldn't have been in that meeting. And if she really felt that way about that topic with what happened with her and Julian, and, you know, she didn't deny her. Well, I'm sure she was very honest when she told Emjay what happened.
Well, see, that's what I wanted to ask, too, because we saw kind of Emjay's response when Julian was like, remember, you were drunk, too. Like, he kind of looked at her, like, made a remark.
She probably didn't say that part.
She didn't add all of that. So, I don't know, like, just
this is the real business.
Right, it's the real business. But in regards to this episode, I feel like, I agree. I feel like Emjay should not have been there. I think he's really overstepping his boundaries as the episode is entitled.
Well, that kind of depends.
Like, it depends. Okay, let me finish. Let me get my point across. Because yes, you are her spouse, you are her mate, you are her support system, her, you know, whatever. But at the end of the day, you have to only support so far. You can't overstep to the point where you're making decisions for her. In a way, she's confused. She doesn't know which way to go because she's listening to her lover, but she's also thinking about this relationship, and he's just so stern about, you know, you need to handle this, that she can't think for herself. And that's why I'm so happy that her mom intervened in this episode and was just like, look, first of all, Emjay living with you. This is your career path. Mm-hmm. So you need to get back on your stuff and make sure you're doing what's best for you to survive, because I don't know, to me, I mean, Mama low-key saying he mooching off of you. So what you taking all of this advice from him for?
I don't know.
You're lost.
No. I know exactly where I'm at. It's just one of those situations where, you know, culturally or whatever her vision of a relationship is, that whole man-woman thing can get in the way of depending on your upbringing. And she seems like she has the kind of upbringing where she really allows the love of her life to have influence in that situation. There's some people who just don't live like that.
It's her protector. Yeah, so it's just like with her upbringing, the man kind of takes control.
Well, it's not even take control, because I could tell she's a strong. Well, I've been around her, so I know she's a strong. Not
takes control, but like takes lead. Like, I feel like any woman, when you have a man, regardless of how strong-headed you are, you know, determined you are, you still would like a man to take lead. Because
that's a structure of family and culture that comes with different people. Some people don't have that, so they can see the downfalls of having your man around. They could easily see the impact that he can have on her career, which obviously it shows. But even diving into what that means for her, what she wants, and the fact that it was her house that he's in, that kind of applies because that's the facts. But in the sense of what kind of family she may want to have structured, that's how he plays into that. And that's why it's so serious if you're a young, upcoming artist or you really just getting into the game. You need to decide what's more important early on so that these decisions don't become muffled because y'all been around each other. He loves her, she loves him.
You're saying like maybe cultural thing, but the way her mama responded, it didn't seem like this is something that...
Okay, she's wise. She's been in the game, and I'm sure her father probably was like that, and that's why she's diving into that even being a possibility. I mean, ain't nobody gonna risk...
Because I'm like, mama was like, I don't know what he got going on, but you need to take lead on your career. Period.
Exactly.
So how do you feel? Okay, so one thing that kind of stuck out to me was when they had the meeting with Julian, they kind of talked about him kind of just being upset that she's been going around to everyone but him first. And he even was upset that, you know, she went to the attorney before him. So, I mean, I feel like you're clearly our education guru of the industry here. Do you think, was it right for her to go to the attorney first, or should she have talked to Julian and like gave him a heads up, like, hey, you know, I'm feeling a certain type of way about your leadership with my career, and I'm seeking an attorney because I need someone else to step in our situation?
A little bit of both. She kind of did address it when she was at that photo shoot, and she was like, you know, I was homeless before I was with you and on the street moment, But that isn't a real conversation. A real conversation is casual, is adult, and it's going back and forth with people's topics. I think she has yet to have a real business conversation with him because of MJ being in that meeting type thing.
Right,
I think
it's like she jumped the gun before they could even maybe lay out a new whatever is going on.
But getting counsel isn't bad. Like you should be able to see everybody's opinions on what matters to you when it comes to business. That's why that wasn't a bad move, although she, again, having MJ there and them, the way they're going about their relationship is a little toxic because there's too much emotion drifting between the business. So she's not it's not easy for her to just sit with the facts. You know, and even with Julian, there are emotional ties that are justified to why she has a hard time breaking from him. And I don't know if MJ knows the truth, and I don't know if it's that dark or whatever, but I feel like there's a real conversation that needs to be had between her and Julian to get to the point where they could talk to business. He started or helped start her career, so that's why she's in the kind of contract situation. When you're starting your career, you really have to judge. You know, a lot of people aren't Amara or Beyonce or other entities that just fire off and it's a situation where you're losing money. Sometimes managers are doing more for you in the beginning and get you to that point, or you may just have it or whatever. But it's one of those situations that first deal usually is a crappy deal, hands down, all kind of businesses. But even in the NFL, you renegotiate your contract, you get yourself in a situation where it gets better, or you leave that person and you try not to lose all your rights, which is why it's such a tough situation because
you think, so going back to it, you feel like Amara should have talked to him first. Like, you think they should have had a meeting based on just about her career before taking these extreme measures to meeting with an attorney and letting MJ cloud her judgment of what she should do.
I mean, I care about the people in my life. So if my mom told me something, I would consider that. If my dad told me something, my brother told me something, my sister told me something, if somebody that I really rock with told me something, I would consider that. And I think her fallacy into this situation is letting that person be too close to the business side. He didn't make you, and Julian was a part of that, so it should be the lawyer, you and Julian talking rather than MJ, you and Julian, even though you consider what he got going on because y'all bonding right now and hopefully that's forever. But if it's not, then this has literally been a waste of your time, part of your life, which a lot of artists coming up, you'll find that some people are important right now, but that may not be forever. Yeah. And that's okay because that's life.
Well, it looks like Julian might not be important forever because she made the decision to let him go. And
we'll see if that's a mistake.
We'll see.
That's one of those situations where you will see.
I don't know. Now that now that we've kind of hashed it out and talked about it, I do kind of wish that she did have the discussion with him one-on-one. More so before,
you get the feelings out so you can get to the business.
Yeah, so you can get to the business. And if she felt like that didn't work, then okay, I need to take those next steps.
But all this
it's just all about the hierarchy. You do that in regular business at a workplace environment. You talk to the person, then you go to up and up and up and up and up. So
and Julian was right. He said, if my woman told me not to talk about it, I wouldn't talk about it. You know why? Because that's her life, that's her career, that's her business. Yeah, y'all got something going on. Even if it's something that makes you mad like that, I respect him as a man for what he did, but I feel like Kuth-wise, he might have ruined her career by accident. And that's how it's all chemistry. It's not, this is going to be the right way to go. You never know until the chips fall, which is what we're going to see, unfortunately. And hopefully it goes great and she either finds somebody new, which may be out of nowhere, or the relationship with her and MJ develops to where he's either forever or not. Then she can make proper decisions. And that's what kind of messes up those people that you like, oh, that part.
That part. Well, guys, speaking of parts and our part and role that we play in AfterBuzz,
we
go ahead and just let them know. Talk to the people.
We really appreciate you guys for just rocking with us. We thank you for the YouTube subscribers. We want you to continue to comment, like, give us those 5 stars. We thank you for allowing us to be the ESPN of AfterBuzz TV Talk. Yeah, we appreciate you. This whole organization does a lot for the community, a lot for us. We learn how to be better journalists, and we learn how to talk and enjoy our shows with y'all.
With y'all. My mic was all turned around. Yes, we love you guys. Keep, tuning in, all of that good stuff. And yeah, so let's go ahead and just do a little quick hit on Trick Daddy and this blind date that Joy set him up on. I think this was just that little sprinkle of comic relief for the episode because it kind of was just thrown in there, and in all actuality, I didn't think it was serious. I mean, come on now. Joy, no offense to Carolyn, but she knew good and well that that was not Trick Daddy's type, and like he even said, I like him more slutty. So that whole situation, do you think Trick acted in a rude way? Do you think he should have still been respectful even though he wasn't necessarily interested in Carolyn?
I mean, yeah, no, because if my ex or my wife situation trying to be ex-wife, but I still have feelings for her, brought somebody up my way, I don't care if she was the baddest, I'll be very thrown off by that, because that means you really trying to cut me off, and that's probably what most of that disrespect came from.
Sure.
It was more the shock of, God, girl, you trying me like this?
Like, how dare you do this to me?
And then it was
low-key kind of low, dang, Joy. Especially after last week when we saw, him kind of express to her, I really want to try to make it work again, blah, blah, blah.
Thank you.
So for her to, do a little 360, because she in his face, kikiing, Trick, stop. Leading him on, and then you come and pop up with Miss Carolyn from the church.
And the sad part
talking about your greens.
Yeah, but sad part, low key, that might be a good type of woman for him to consider. I mean, maybe not that particular one, but somebody that's he's really into food. I mean, I'm sure he's gonna get a point to where he's tired of running around with the extras, and at least he knows himself to know that that's a factor. So maybe he needs just a more saucier version of that. But
he
somebody
needs
who's
spice.
solid,
he needs some. He needs
a little bit like to handle. But you know what I'm saying? Been there, done. I don't know. He been there, done that, so you know how it goes.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't think Joy was being serious, but I don't know.
Which also makes me think she still got weird feelings for him on a low. Because you don't mess with people like that unless you have some kind of thing. Like, she would have really got him a bad one to get him away, if that's what she was trying to do. To do that, it was a funny moment. For you to even play with that means you care about this dude. You playing with this dude.
Because it's in a way, it was
you ignore who you don't like.
Yeah, in a way, it was just I'll put you on this date, but she can't. I mean, never mind. I'm not even going to say that comment. I think that Joy was really wrong for this. And my favorite quote throughout this whole thing was when he said, this will happen on February 33rd. And he said, that's not even a real date because it won't happen. Oh, my God, that was hilarious. But, yeah, I don't know. They need to get it together. I think they'll be back together.
Yeah, I mean.
Do you think? Maybe.
If they had a kid.
I think it's going to be too late. I think Joy is going to probably try to, later on, she going to be oh, maybe. And then he going to be nope, I'm done with you because you tried to hook me up with Carolyn and you completely disrespected me, blah, blah, blah. And then it's going to be this whole thing. And then they just going to have beef. And then Nikki Natural going to go back to Trick Daddy.
I'll say this. Some people have chemistry that you just don't understand. And maybe there's something about that Trick Daddy that she can't turn down. He is Mr. Eat a Booty Gang. So maybe he done did some things to her that she's you would imagine that she would just have moved on and stopped messing with him. And if it ain't the business, and if there's something going on, then there's something going on. I give it to the player. Maybe got the sauce where she need the sauce at.
I guess. Well,
hot sauce.
Speaking of sauce and spiciness,
barbecue.
Premadonna got a little spicy this episode. She had to. I mean, Joseline kind of, threw off her game. Now, I will say, I originally thought that she was going to, be the bigger person and let the whole situation go. Because, let me tell you why. Because when the episode started, she was really calm. She got back in the groove of her party. She was just you know what, whatever. She just promoted more of my business. She probably used some of my seasonings, blah, blah, blah. She held it down really well. And then she get in the booth with Trick Daddy talking about this, talking about she needs to let bitchs Yeah. Whatever. No. I shouldn't have tried to spell. Talking. Trying to let him know or whatever. And then she has a talk with Miami Tip and Dawn comes in, and it's just like, she pretty much is like, Joseline ain't heard the last of me now, and she started it, so I'm gonna end it. Do you think this beef is just washed up and they need to let it go? I think they need to let it go. This was Atlanta beef, and now they're bringing it and trickling it on into Miami. I think they just need to wash their hands of the situation.
Well, I think it's one of those, they're the type of people who need the perfect enemy in order to, be the best version of themselves. I feel that she was hurt by the situation with the whole pig. I think she's just
only because it's like, dang, am I my party?
Well, yeah, but I think that's also like how, which is us educational moment. If somebody messes up or tries to mess up your reputation, the best thing to do is do the best PR thing. It's like Omarion with the whole Little Fizz April situation. Lordy. When you on Vlad TV, you play it cool. She may go to her homies and be like, I'm about to tear it up. And you see how that tour ended up. So it's one of them situations where you can say your feelings in private with your people, which is this version of private with your people. But when it comes to, the general public, yeah, she probably used my seasonings, all that stuff. That's just, how you take it across the chin. So you think
it was more so, well, true. It was
Boss
more,
moves.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not finna let them see me sweat. Like, this is my party. I got it. I feel you. She did do that, and she did that well.
I thought it was great.
Okay, first of all, let's talk about the whole Dawn thing, though, and how they all kind of just started confessing how they believe Joseline really is. Like, how apparently, well, according to Premadonna, she's on coke, and she's just a crazy person, and she says the reason why, the beef is there is because she has something that Joseline has always wanted and has never had, and that's a husband and an actual career, an actual hustle. And then Dawn comes in and says that she ruined her house and did all of this. So, I mean, I don't know. We didn't really have Joseline. We didn't have Joseline in this episode to kind of get two sides of a story. Do you think what they're saying about Joseline is true necessarily, or it's kind of just like cattiness, he say, she say?
A lot of bit of both. I think it's a situation where there's been a lot of videos out substantiating allegations that they throw out. I feel like when you become famous, if you're a big personality, if you got things that you've gone through in life, all that stuff is going to come to light. You're going to have to deal with that on a scale that you may not be ready for. I think they... it's hard to... I don't like people who talk bad about people, even if it's true. That's why I try not to talk bad about people.
Because I kind of
it's personal, so if it comes out from my heart, I may be talking facts, but even if I'm talking facts and I'm passionate about it, I really don't want to be this guy. But Joseline, the way you live your life dictates how people will treat you. So it's one of those, she's out there like that with a bunch of other people. You can't get mad at the people that do it to her, but it's also everybody's human. Everybody has feelings. And for those people who do that necessarily don't have substantial reasons to try to crush people's reputations, like on that level, I feel like is a weird kind of thing to have in your heart. Even on some later on, you're gonna want to be better than that. Yeah. I hope.
I kind of felt, I don't know, I was kind of disturbed by Dawn this episode. I mean, only
but that's
just
the people you have around.
True. Only just seeing the fact that, like she said, she was her manager at a point in time. She said she's seen Joseline for who she really is. And I don't know, I just kind of feel like she could have handled it better. She shouldn't have bashed her the way she did, especially seeing the fact that she's Bonnie's godmom. Like, you don't disrespect like someone that you've been close with and they probably share deep dark secrets with, all of that. So, and I get to your point, that goes back to management and who you bring in your circle.
No, because it's a perfect way. Can I get my message?
Josh is not there.
Oh. All right. This message is watch who you have around you. Watch who you open up to, because there's a lot of people that are in your life that may be family, maybe new to your life that you just met, that maybe seem like they're key to you getting to where you need to be. Whatever you divulge to people, know that may come back to bite you. Whatever you allow people to see that is the real deep dark you, know that they may be the exact person to let everybody know about that. That's not to say be weary about opening up to people, but just be cognizant and be diligent about how you go about it, because that's what's going to allow you to feel more at ease and I mean, sometimes you got to go through stuff. Sometimes you learn that, and then you figure out who the right people to open up to. Yeah. Sometimes you can't avoid that. So I don't want to act like there's a way to avoid this. This just happens on real life.
And you live and you learn. I just think, thank you, Josh, and thank you, Alfie, for the message. I just think she could have handled it differently. Like, I understand they have beef and all of that, and it's just not a good look to be, jumping on the enemy side and, okay, well, I have my issues with Jocelyn, so I'm going to go ahead and throw her under the bus. And
eventually you're going to have to talk to that goddaughter.
If you've had strong loyalty with someone, myself personally, I don't care how bad we fall out. What my respect for you, I mean, it may change personally, but I will always, represent you in a good way to the public eye, regardless of how bad you did me, because that's just what you do. No. Because you guys had a genuine loyal friendship at a point of time.
If I so choose, I may, you never know when, destroy you. There's people that's like, wait, no, I'm just going to be honest, because there are people like you who are the...
Right.
Yeah, there are people like you that are the better person, and there are people like me who, I'm a Scorpio, I don't know if you want to add that to it, but it's one of them situations where if you do me dirty, like I got couth. So like I'm not gonna add to what's going on right now, but if I know you and I know I might just. Hopefully I don't, but if I decide to, I'm not gonna feel bad about that. So that's why you treat people how you want to be treated, so they don't bang you later.
Do not rub Alfie the wrong way if you are fans of Alfie. Do not do him wrong. Got you. Speaking of doing people wrong, y'all, we got to talk about the Trina, this tour, this boot camp, everything that just got flushed down the drain. So we this episode, Trina is discussing her tour. She's added a few people. She's added Chameleon. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name wrong. She added her. Nikki, got Grace to be back on the tour, and they're talking about this boot camp. They're planning it, and they're talking about the beats with Nikki, and Hood Brad is still being very petty to me. I just still don't understand how she just flipped the script so crazy on Nikki, because on that episode they really seemed like they were buddy, and now she's acting confused, saying that Nikki is accusing her of starting it, and then she's like, no, I didn't, when she really did. It's just so much drama that led to a huge fight all over low-key Hood Brat. What was your opinion on this whole situation? I mean, Hood Brat to a certain extent.
She was the faucet. I'll give her that. But the way Nikki was... I don't know why she was blasting the mouth. Like there was so many times if she was another girl, she would just been saved and not in the situation, even after stealing the phone, which was like, for me... forget that. The principle that you did not have to be on this tour, baby. We gave you another chance, and you come in saying, I came to prove that I'm better than everybody. I deserve my spot here. I'm finna show everybody out. Like, to the person who has granted you this opportunity. This is Trina's tour, not Joy's tour. So how dare you come in and be disrespectful to her? I was done with her at that point. I'm like, girl, you really showed your little butt, because the first episode, I just knew she was this nice, wholesome chick, and she has done a complete 360. And I feel like for new artists, there's nothing wrong with being confident. There's nothing wrong with having a certain, bravado where you could be like, I beat that person. You know what I'm saying? Some people, I think Sukihana went over the board with, she thought she beat me. I need to make an issue out of this, which led in ways everybody played a ratchet doing too much part to make this to where this point.
Because Suki came in like...
Because she could have talked it
through. Where
through.
my phone at? What's up? And then she started taking off her shoes. Honestly, low key, if you coming in taking off your shoes, I would have been like Nikki, like, oh, that's what we doing? Okay, well, let me get prepared because you're not about to just up and one up me. Like, I'm taking my heels off too.
Exactly.
So it was a mess.
Because she was more concerned about her throwing it, and I'm in a situation where I feel the same way. If somebody's coming up to me, taking off their jewelry, talking about we need to talk, I don't hear we need to talk. I see we about to fight. You know what I'm saying?
And then for Hood Brad to come in, I'm sorry, her name is not Hood Rat, it's Hood Brad. I'm so sorry. She came in and was like about to start jumping. Like she literally came in and just took her side, and they was about to try to jump the girl.
Well,
like
I felt
she
like that was a part of the show.
That.
She's a product of the show where she picks sides and she's ready with the rowdiness. I feel like it's sad because, man, these are one of the opportunities that I really was hoping would develop more with Love and Hip Hop Miami, where to be Trina giving opportunities for young black girls to make it out here. It'd be ratchet as far as their music, but you'll see them working
and like how
building
and how
stuff.
they talked about in the beginning. This is a sisterhood. Like they were just all excited to be at this boot camp together. And I agree. It's just like, you know, she took all these steps forward to be that person, to be that mentor, and be that influence just to get thrown back. And now she about to fight in the next episode.
Yeah. And I feel like she was justified in that. She's justified to say it's over. I feel like, again, people, if you set yourself up for failure, you're going to really get that. And I feel like Nikki going into next episode look like she's going to reap the repercussions, because not only did she put herself in a situation to have nothing but opponents with her, hopefully peers. Hopefully y'all could have been doing music together. Y'all could have been building together. But then you disrespect Trina, and then you got the older authority. You see how you attack a wolf, how the hyenas that love the wolf is gonna come for you. It's like I feel like hopefully viewers, wiser people, you learn from the mistakes of others in front of you, so that you're in a situation that you're not, dealing with.
Because regardless, Trina has been in the game. Regardless of this album has been swiped off the shelf or whatever you want to call it, she still is your plug. She still knows the game, knows the business, knows people. So it's just like you F her over. You've F'd over all of your potential resources. So it was just a very unfortunate situation, and I really hope they can get it together. I really think Nikki first of all, they all owe her an apology, but I feel like Nikki was extremely disrespectful. I get it. I get why. I feel like Suki could have handled it a different way, but I get it. She messed with her money at that point. Like, she took her phone. She ain't had no contacts, none of that. She got kids. I get her point. She could have handled it differently, but I get it. But Nikki, she was still disrespectful, and that's just not right. And if you're trying to grow in this industry, or just in general in life, not even entertainment industry, you respect who come before you, and yeah. Well,
I mean, it's ties. Like, sometimes you may not like somebody, and they may, because there's a lot of times where you have altercations that you're like, we don't agree, but come on, B, you way older than me. I should have a great relationship because I'm trying to be like you, blah, blah, blah. And maybe on even the same terms, y'all wouldn't agree, but the lineage of Trick, I'm not going to say certain type of things that she just let roll off her tongue like that was a hot thing to do. And maybe she wants to be popping on IG on just formats that a lot of people are addicted to right now. But when it comes to structure of real career, none of that matters.
Yeah.
Like, knowing people and how people see you and how you respect people and how you handle certain situations, because there's always going to be things to oppositions or objects that come your way. So maneuver better, baby.
Maneuver better. Let's
Everybody.
maneuver to our special segment that we always miss.
Hey.
So our special segment, we are going to talk about who brought the heat. Okay, you got 5 seconds. Yes.
Julian.
Let's talk about how I said you got 5 seconds and held up 10 fingers. You have 5 seconds to say. Oh, Julian. Julian brought the heat.
Julian brought the heat because he had a situation where he was really mad at that, and he didn't necessarily let Amara go or say that he was going to take all her rights, but he let her know that there's certain ways to go about this business, and if I was in your position, I would have done way better than you, my G.
You right. You know what? I agree, because that was the realest thing that happened this episode. Everything else was a bunch of mess.
Because even still, you still don't have the facts, but the one who's been the strongest in this whole situation is Julian.
Has been Julian. Oh, shoot. Okay.
He hasn't stood off his square yet, and I'm waiting for him to get knocked down, and nobody's got a fact that's really stood ground, and there's been other elements to it, so until I see that, my G, I get business, and business is really rough in there.
All right. Well, he said it best and first, and whatever you want to call it. Some quick news. Erica Mena and Safari, they had their baby. They made it IG official, I believe, today. So congratulations to them.
Erica Mena and me and Swag Inc. On BET. Just FYI.
Yes. What he said. Congratulations to you guys. And yeah, it's exciting to have a new bundle of joy in the world. Now, quick predictions. 10 seconds.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Nigga gonna get up, but what's up? Like she should.
For
yo,
sure.
Sneaky old thieving that old.
Yeah, she's gonna get her butt whooped. My prediction is Hood Brat, they are going to find out that she has been the cause of all of this mess. And I think so. I think
she's an instigator, but she ain't the cause.
I think her true colors are gonna start being revealed to everybody, and they're gonna be like, she started this whole drama.
She that friend to get you in a fight.
She the reason why we ain't had this tour. She the reason why the boot camp ain't go through.
She the friend that make you lose your job. She the friend that make you get in trouble with your parents, but she ain't make you do what you did or the other mom.
That's my prediction. So, okay. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in. We tried to squeeze it all in for you guys today. Thank you for bearing with us. Alfie, where can we find you on social media?
Alfred Noah Thomas, IG. Alfred Noah Thomas too at IG, all of social forms.
Yes. So, guys, I changed my ad name on Instagram. You can now find me on all social media platforms at Tyra Prude Official, because I'm official.
Official!
Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.